Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we will be discussing about the processes of development. In the previous recording, we started first chapter, which is about human growth and development, and we studied different kinds of changes, and we also discussed about nature and nurture, and we explored why studying development is important. Today we will be discussing the processes of development, and there are basically three kinds of processes. First of all, biological processes, secondly, cognitive processes, and socio-emotional processes. These three domains are not really distinct, rather they overlap and interact with each other. Like these all domains are working together, they are developing together, and they are interacting with each other. Each domain influences and is influenced by others. For example, new motor capacities such as reaching, sitting, crawling and walking, these all are examples of physical development or biological processes. These changes contribute greatly to infants' understanding of their surroundings. An understanding of their surrounding is something related to their cognitive process. When babies think and act more competently, adults stimulate them more with games, languages, and expressions of delight at their new achievements. And what is that? That is linked to emotional and social side. So these enriched experiences in turn promote all aspects of development. Now we will see some biological processes of development. Biological processes involve changes in the child's body, and it also includes genetics. Biological processes underlie the development of brain and gain in height, gain in weight, and changes in motor skills, and of course, hormonal changes. So basically, biological processes of development are based on the changes in the human's body, brain development, and height and weight gain, and motor skills development, functioning of body systems, perceptual and motor capacities, and physical health. These all are some examples of biological process of development. Then there are cognitive processes of development. Cognitive processes involve changes in the child's thinking, intelligence, and language. Basically, cognitive developmental processes enable a growing child to memorize a poem, for example, and imagining how to solve a math problem, and come up with a creative strategy or speaking meaningfully. So these all are cognitive abilities, and these all are processes of cognitive development. So what a child is achieving in cognitive processes? First of all, there are changes in the human thinking, there are changes in the human intelligence, and a child is learning language day by day and improving, and he starts memorizing the stuff, and his intellectual abilities are developing. He is developing problem solving skills and imagination skills, and of course creativity. So these all are included in the cognitive processes of development. Then there are socio-emotional processes of development. Socio-emotional processes involve changes in the child's relationship with other people and changes in the emotions, changes in the personality. And All these things are, for example, a boy is getting aggressive or girls' development of assertiveness, all these feelings, all these attitudes, these are included in the social emotional processes of development. And your personality is changing, your feelings are developing, your feelings are changing, you are getting self-understanding, you are getting knowledge about others, and a person is developing interpersonal skills. Children making friendships, and they are getting moral reasoning. So these all are socio-emotional processes of development. Now we will see some fundamentals of human growth and development. Human development is the scientific study of the quantitative and qualitative ways by which people change over time. It is progressive increase in skills and capacities to function, and it includes psychological, emotional, and social changes. We have discussed about it in the previous slides. It is qualitative aspect. On the other hand, growth is often referred to as quantitative changes. For example, physical growth. For example, changes in the height, changes in the weight. It is the process of physical maturation resulting in increase in the size of the body and various organs. It occurs by multiplication of the cells and an increase in the substance. It is quantitative changes of the body. So basically, what we are discussing in growth, we are talking about increase in size. There are some other definitions of growth. According to one definition, growth is change in size, in proportion, disappearance of old features, and acquisition of the new ones. So this is very simple definition of growth. According to another definition, growth refers to structural and physiological changes. On the other hand, if we see some definitions of development, they are a bit different from the definitions of growth. According to one definition, development means a progressive series of changes that occur in an orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experience. Another definition says that development is concerned with growth as well as those changes in behavior which result from environmental situations. So, it is the concept of development is more comprehensive because it includes both aspects. The next definition tells that development refers to a process of change in growth and capability over time as function of both maturation and interaction with the environment. So, in the light of these definitions, the term development in its most general physiological sense or psychological sense refers to certain changes that occur in human beings or animals between conception and death. The term is not applied to all the changes, but rather it is related to those changes that appear in orderly ways and remain for a reasonably long period of time. For example, a temporary change caused by a brief illness, for example, is not considered as a part of development. So we can say that human development can be more permanent and it is a complex process. So in these definitions, we can clearly understand that there is a difference between growth and development. And development is a more complex process. And if we recap what we studied today is that psychologically we take both terminologies differently. The concept of growth and development is slightly different.